I almost didn't want to make this video because my friend said it would be emotional slop, but after some thinking, I just want to get all my thoughts out there, even if it's just for myself. And who knows, it might even help someone else as well. Now, this sounds basic, but I really wanted to be an astronaut growing up. But around sophomore year of high school, I was already around 6'5", and NASA's height limit for astronauts is 6'4", so it wasn't really possible. And so I turned to the next best thing, aerospace engineering. And so for the last 4 to 6 years, I've been focusing on that, trying to get into a good university, joining academic clubs, trying to get internships and research. I even have been telling my family for the longest time that this is what I always wanted to do, which was to go to space or help explore it, at least. But after 2 years of being in university and putting my blood, sweat, and tears into trying to make my dreams a reality, I gave up. This was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and I've put so much time and effort into this. I've told so many friends and family that told so many other friends and family that every time I saw anyone that I haven't seen in a while, that was the first thing they asked about. You're gonna be a rocket scientist. You're so smart. I remember my older cousin telling me that she told everyone she knows I'm going to be a rocket scientist, and she's so proud of what I'm doing, and she brags about how smart I am all the time to her friends. And that was nice at the time, but not trying to back out of that was almost impossible. But I think the only reason I didn't feel this way for too long is why I gave up, which was I just didn't care anymore. I'm not that smart. As much as my family says I am, I'm not. I've always just tried. So after 2 years of university, 4 semesters of ridiculously hard classes that were just hard to make the university look better, I lost all my passion for what I was working for. When you're not a genius, it makes it almost impossible to pass some of these classes when you do not really care. My thermodynamics exam was 3 hours and it only had 3 questions. The worst part is I studied for over 40 plus hours just to bomb it anyways, which it should have felt crushing for me, and it was, but only because I was bummed out that I tried so hard and still failed. Not really at all that I only get one more try to pass this class or I'm out of the program, and I wouldn't be able to pursue this, in quotes, lifelong dream anymore. I've come to the realization that you can either pick something hard you have a lot of passion for, or something easy you have no passion for, at least with my intelligence. This came to me when I was thinking about the academic organization I was in for aerospace engineering. It was my uni's liquid propulsion rocket team, and being a part of that team was amazing, but unfortunately sealed the deal for me. The people in this group were some of the most passionate people I've ever met. Every single person I talked with on that team was crazy about rockets. They were ecstatic about this. And I just didn't have that anymore. They would spend several all-nighters doing work for the rocket just because they wanted to. That's how they spent their free time. I would pass by the workshop on the way home from a late night shift at work, maybe around 2 to 3 a.m., and the lights would still be on. And to me, it was just a job that I had to do for my resume and to get experience so I could get a real job. But it was just a means to an end. I wanted the salary at this point, and I didn't really care about anything aerospace anymore. I remember studying for an exam and not even realizing that one of the Artemis rockets were lifting off until my cousin texted me a picture saying how cool it was. If you do not know what the Artemis program is, it is the campaign to send humans back to the moon and make a base there. Your first thought after hearing that is probably, oh, that's cool. And then you would go back to scrolling YouTube shorts. That's about how I feel about it now. And I was just sitting there after that thinking about how I used to be so obsessed with the Artemis project. I literally used to know everything about it, but now I couldn't care less. Soon after that, I thought to myself how it feels like I'm trying so hard to board a bus to a place I'll never be able to go. Sure, it's a little selfish, but to me it's just not worth it. Then I finally admitted that I'm giving up on this. It doesn't matter if I want to do it for the last 15 years. I don't want to do it anymore, and that's okay. I've waited a few days to tell my parents, and I haven't even told my sister or extended family yet because I was too embarrassed to do so. So much time, energy, money, and talk just for me to choose not to do it. How could I face anyone after that? But honestly, now that I did change majors, I could not be happier now. I used to have a really bad mental state some days, and now that I know I'm choosing a path, one that I have at least a chance of doing something that makes me happy, I feel like this incredible weight is lifted off my shoulders. And sure, I probably won't make as much money as I would before, and my actual hobbies like surfing, editing, and going to the gym won't make me any money, but at least I'll have the freedom to enjoy it. And who knows, while I have no expectations for it, maybe YouTube will work out. But bottom line is, it was the best choice I've ever made, and I have no regrets. If you don't want to do something anymore, stop working for it. You don't owe anyone anything, and it's given up, sure, but would you even be happy if you succeeded? Knowing when to let go of something after giving it so much time and love is a hard skill to learn, and hopefully it doesn't have to be used often. But figuring out what you want to do for the rest of your life, or knowing you don't want to do the same thing for the rest of your life, is almost an impossible task for most people, let alone kids or young adults still finding out who they are themselves. And I'm not saying try something for a bit, maybe sink a bunch of money into it and just give up, like I did with my bass. But choosing a different direction for your life is not failing, it's just changing the finish line. And you're only giving up on that ending. As long as you keep running, that's all that matters. Keep running till you know where you want to stop. We only have one life, and continuing to do something because your parents or anyone think it'll be best for your future career is BS. You should never do something because you think it will give you security, because it won't. Jobs are being replaced by AI, politics everywhere are becoming more unstable, and the planet is dying. So who cares? One of the best people I've ever gotten the chance to meet once said, "You may fail at doing something you don't love, so you may as well try at something you do." I am paraphrasing here, but you get the point. You have the chance of failing and succeeding in every part of life. So why waste that chance in something you don't really want to win in anyways? I mean, look at me. I'm trying this YouTube thing out, and sure, I'm most definitely gonna crash and burn, but hey, the ride down is gonna be a lot more fun compared to the hill I didn't want to keep climbing.